YouTube family, welcome back to my channel and another episode of my Beauty Tuesday videos. And in today's video I am gonna go through all of my Colourpop eyeshadow palettes. So I do not have so many of their new releases of eyeshadow palettes. The only thing that I have that is super new release is the So Jaded palette. But I do have some Colourpop eyeshadow palettes, and the reason why I wanted to do this video is because you can get so much for your money, and I wanted to show you because when I'm looking it feels like all of them are looking the same. Like, what is the difference in between them? Which palette should I go for if I want to get like just one or two of them? So I wanted to go through the ones that I have and let you know what I think about them, because these are all palettes that I have been using a lot. I have been doing tutorials here on my channel also, but these are all palettes that I can really talk about by heart because I've been using them a lot, I've been wearing them a lot. All of them are good, but some of them are very similar, so you can save yourself money. You do not have to go for all their palettes. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 palettes, and all of them are pretty small. It's only this So Jaded palette that is a little bit bigger. And let's start with this one. It's the only palette of this palettes that I'm going to talk about today that I have actually done a review of. So I have done a video where I was talking about this, trying it for the first time, and did a tutorial on this palette. So I will leave that video somewhere here so you can check it out if you want to. I love this palette. I think the formula is so good. I was even very impressed of this Taupe and Opal, like this pressed glitters. This is the only palette from Colourpop that I have with pressed glitters. And this diamond color is super beautiful, like a shimmery, like inner corner, like highlighter. And if we take a closer look on this palette, you see that you have a good amount of matte colors and also some shimmers. So if we take a look, you see that almost this whole row you have matte colors, and you also have some pops on matte colors up here. And you have, well, I would say you have everything you need in here. You have transition colors, you have darker colors, you have some shimmery colors, and all of them are very, very pigmented. And I really like this. The only thing is that it's a little bit bigger palette, so maybe this is nothing I will travel with and take with me when I'm traveling, but I like it. And for the size you get a lot of shadows in there. They have made like good pans that is not super big but not tiny either. So I really like this palette. It's a little pricier for being Colourpop, but that is because it's so many colors in there, and it's also a collaboration palette, so it's Kathleen Light. Depending on what you are going for, most of the other ones that I have here are more travel friendly. So let's talk about the Semi Precious palette. This is the only palette that only contains glittery shadows, and this one is actually a little more pricey than the other palettes. I do not know why, because the pans are a little bit bigger in this one and it contains less shadows. If we compare, for example, with this one that are a little like similar in the size, you see that the So Precious palette only have 8 shades. This one has 12 shades, but the So Precious palette is a little more pricey. It comes with bigger pans, so maybe that will justify it, but also it rarely happens that you use up a pan with shimmer shadows, because you do not go for shimmer shadows all the time. But you have beautiful colors in here, and my favorite color, as you can see, is this one in the corner here. I have been using this so much, and it's really a nice color. Super, super, super pigmented, and really, like, I am reaching for that color all the time. But all of the colors in this palette are super pigmented, and sometimes I reach for this palette just to get like an inner corner highlight out of some of these brighter colors. So I will say I think it's worth the money, but still, maybe if you want to have a palette that you can travel with, that you can like have one and done palette, that you can get all the colors you want, I have other palettes here to show you. It's definitely a palette that I can recommend if you're into shimmers and if you do like this specific colors. It's super buttery and super pigmented, and they stay on the whole day and night. Then we have two palettes that have the same packaging, but they are different. This is Double Entertained, and this is I Think I Love You. So if we open these two, so this is Double Entertained and this is I Think I Love You. Out of these two, they are kind of similar but yet different, and I think I prefer the I Think I Love You palette out of the two, and that is basically because I feel like you have more use out of this because you have a matte black in here, you still have all the transition colors, and you have some shimmers here. And as you can see, this one is pretty beaten up because I've been using it a lot. But if we do not compare them side by side and talk about them separately, in this palette we have a mix of matte shades, and you have like all the transition colors and everything, but it's a little more warm toned. I will say everything in this palette is warm toned. It's nothing neutral and cool tone. So if you're into warm tone colors and barely never go into really dark colors, this one is very good. The formula is super, like everything, like all the formulas are very nice, so I really like this one. But to be honest, I kind of feel like I didn't have to get this specific one, since I got the I Think I Love You palette that is very similar, but here you have some other colors, and this color I go for all the time. This shimmery bright color is so pretty, and it's so convenient that you have a black because you can deepen up the look so easy, and then you also have the perfect transition colors. And this one is a little more neutral. I mean, you still have pops of warm colors in here, like the gold for example, but the brown shade is more neutral than in this palette. So this is a little more warm tone, this is a little more neutral. Both of them are super good and very worth the money in my opinion. Then I have another palette that is a Kathleen Light collaboration. I think I have many of her collaboration palettes, and it's Dream Street. And this is also a 12 shadow palette, but here you can see you have pops of colors. So you have some neutrals. What I feel like is that I'm missing in this palette is like a cool toned transition color, because it's very warm tone, but you have this bluish colors that I kind of wish that I had some cool toned like transition colors to go with. But except from that, I really like this palette, and you have some reddish tone. So this is like a palette you can go for like having when you're traveling, and you have more or less everything in here, but you can go for some pops of colors. You can get so many different looks out of this palette. You can get some reddish looks, you can get some blue looks, and inner corner highlights, and some shimmers, some mattes. I really like this palette. I think it's super duper nice. So Kathleen Light always does a very good job when she's doing her collaboration palettes. I really like them. Then we have Cute AF, and honestly I have not been wearing this so much, and the reason why is because it's so warm tone. Don't get me wrong, more or less all the time when I'm doing my makeup I'm going for like a warm toned smoky eye, but it feels like I have so many others. For example, like the Double Entertained palette is also very warm tone. This one is a little more like pops of yellows in there. What I do like with this is that you have some brown neutral tone, you have beautiful shimmers, and this orange kind of shimmer is so vibrant and so beautiful. So I mean, if you are into this kind of colors, you're really gonna like this palette. Like one of a kind type of shadows in here when it comes to the orange and the yellow shade. I think if you are into those colors, you're gonna like this palette. Otherwise, if you're into more neutral colors, I think this one is going to be too much for you. Then I have two palettes left. One of them is, I think, my favorite out of this, or maybe not my favorite, but the one that I have been using the most. But first we're going to talk about this, the Element of Surprise. And here we have more colorful palette. So we have more pink and purple in this, but we still have transition shades. This is a perfect like transition shade to go over your whole lid with and then start to build up. And then you have like purpley mattes, you have this pink shadow that is shimmer, that is very vibrant. As you can see, like boom, this is a really vibrant pink color, and I have not had any problem with this staining my eyelid, which usually pink colors are when it comes to staining. When I'm just wiping off with my towel here, I get more or less everything off. So that is nice, I really like that. So if you're into purpley colors and pinkish colors, this is really the palette for you, because you have everything you need in here if you want to go for a pink or a purple look. What I can miss is a dark like black, because then you can deepen up the looks a little bit more. I like to have a black when I'm traveling. If I'm going for one look, usually I like to have a black if I want to like mark my lines, or if I want to like deepen up some colors. But it's a very good one, and if you are into those colors, you're gonna like this one. Then to my most used Colourpop palette, and I have also used this on my channel many times, and it's the All I See Is Magic palette. And this really has everything that you need. And in my opinion, it has everything except from maybe a little more cool toned brown color that is not super deep, because you have this brown color that is a little bit deep, and then you have this color that is a little more like beige tone, but I would like to have something in between those two. But honestly, I usually mix this two to get more like a transition shade that is matching for me. But in this palette, I do not know why I like it so much, but I tend to reach for it a lot because I have so much in here. And this for inner corner highlight and for like lighting up any look that I'm doing, it's like the perfect shade, and it has hints of like a golden shimmer in there, and I have even been wearing that as a highlight on my cheek sometimes, and it's just beautiful. And also this like purpley deep color, it's perfect without any patchiness, and that is the thing, like with deep purpley colors, I feel like it's sometimes very hard to have like a nice not patchy purple color in a palette. So I really like that one. And yeah, I think out of all of the palettes, this is the one that I have been using the most. I do not know if it's my favorite, it's just the one that I've been reaching for the most. Maybe that is just a coincidence, but overall I have to say Colourpop is really something extra. Like, they have super quality on their shadows and on basically everything that I've tried from Colourpop. I really like their formula, and you get so much for your money, so I can definitely recommend more or less everything from Colourpop. Every time I purchase palettes from Colourpop, I'm never disappointed. The only thing is that I feel like they are coming out with so much palettes all the time, and as you can see, some of them are very similar, and sometimes you just need a few of them. I tend to go a little bit overboard sometimes when I'm buying things, and I'm buying everything in all the colors and everything, but honestly you do not need that. And if you have 1 or 2 or maybe 3 Colourpop palettes, maybe then you don't need so many more. And that is why I have like put myself on hold when it comes to buying Colourpop palettes, because I have so many and I can find more or less all the shadows in this palette, because some of the shadows are like replicate. You can see the same shadows in many of the different palettes, but overall I love them. And if you haven't tried Colourpop, try it. It's so affordable, and I mean, the quality for those money, I don't think you can get better price for this type of quality that Colourpop is offering. So my friends, that is it for today's video, and I hope that you did like it. And let me know in the comments what you think of this type of video. If you want me to do this with the same, like my Morphe palettes, what else do I have? Like my Sueva palettes, and I have different brands that I have a lot of palettes from. Let me know if you do want to see me do more of this type of reviews, if it's helpful for you. And yeah, I hope that you liked it, and if you did, don't forget to support me with a little thumbs up also. So you're gonna have beauty videos coming from me every week now. Every Tuesday you are gonna have Beauty Tuesday with something beauty related on my channel. So shoot in the comments whatever you would like to see for future videos. With that being said, my friends, thank you so much for watching today, and I hope I will see you in my next video. But for this time I say bye!